All right, ladies and gentlemen. So I know unexpected, but we are doing a lecture today because Hanky Bobanky is sick. This kid's got like 30 nicknames, okay? He's cute. Blonde hair, blue eyes, and with big cheeks. Hanky Bobanky suits. So tomorrow you have no vocab quiz because I'm not sure if I'm going to be here. If Hank is going to be home, I will obviously be home. So no matter what, even if I'm here, there's no vocab quiz tomorrow. I don't want you studying for something that's not going to happen. Monday, you have 1 through 10 in a primary. Tuesday, 1 through 20 in a lecture. Wednesday, 25 question test, 29 minutes.
Yay.
So, you're going to make it, Brady.
I didn't say that was fun.
Well, he's shaking his head and all that stuff, so it's hard to say. Okay. Well, you do have a mask on, so it's hard to tell. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's 29 minutes. Most of you were pushing right through yesterday without a problem. My fastest time was in like 18 minutes. Yeah, they went real quick, so that's great. Yeah, they did well. Yeah, they did well. No, you weren't my fastest yesterday.
Well, I did a 19.
There you go. See, this person's 18. So, ladies and gentlemen, we need to keep pushing. We're trying to get to 27. We're going to stay at 29 for 2 weeks. So, you have 2 weeks of this one, and then we'll drop again. So, keep in mind, we only have 4 more tests of 25 questions.
What do you mean by that?
Because we'll go to 35 questions after that.
What?
You never asked. You asked.
Wait, so how much time are we going to get?
How much time
We'll bump it up. You get a little bit more than a minute per question. No, that's not how that works. It's for 25 questions, 27 minutes. If we have 35 questions, you'll have 37 minutes.
How much is it going to be out of it? Still gonna be out of
70.
Oh my god. Oh wait. That's like
Let's, girl. Yeah, bruh. All right, here we go. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's begin. Spread of communism. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, communism. Oh my God, is communism going to spread? Even though the United States has made plenty of threats? What are some ways that we have made plenty of threats post World War II? What is something we've done? Amelia. The Truman Doctrine, which says that any country that takes on communism, they are going to directly use their military to directly interfere. What's another threat that we've made? What's some theories we put out there that justify American behavior? Nicole? The domino theory, which states what, Nicole? You should be making a note of these because these are going to be how we're going to justify all of these incursions we're going to have here in a minute.
Communism was like in one place here, it would like spread all to all the other countries.
If it's in one new place in a region, it's going to sink the whole region. So if it spreads to, say, Vietnam, then it's going to start spreading through the rest of Asia. Okay, what's another theory that we've used? What do you got, John?
Containment.
Containment. And what is that one, John?
If like one country becomes communist, we're not going to fight to change it to capitalist, but we're going to prevent other countries from.
There you go. Containment. If a country is already communist, they're going to leave it alone, but they're not going to allow it to spread. Containment is the original theory, and all these other ones are going to stem off of it. Please make sure you know that. So, while we're talking about communism, we're going to start in China, because China is going to become communist. Yay! And we've already kind of talked about the early turnings of it. Now we're really going to start getting into the meat and potatoes of it, like the real details. Jiang Jian, okay? We've already kind of talked about Mao. Now we're getting into the real details. Okay, so communists are going to be led by Mao Zedong. You need to have a box around his name. They're not going to have a DBQ about him this year because they did a DBQ on him 2 years ago. Yeah, that was pretty dirty. It was literally just on Mao. And, you can only come up with so many details about Mao. So rest assured, your DBQ will not be on Mao this year. Yeah. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, Mao Zedong is going to turn parts of China communist. It's going to start in the rural and spread to the city centers. Now, he is going to have the support of the peasants. Okay? How he's going to do it is he's going to open schools and hospitals. That is how he gains the public's favor, which is pretty expected. Now, in 1949, the communists are officially going to win China. Okay, beforehand. Now remember, friendly reminder, what year does the dynastic system end in China?
1911?
1911 is when we have our last emperor.
We learned about it.
Yeah, we
It's
keep
the same
talking
thing as
about it.
Mexico.
Yes.
Mexican Revolution, the Chinese Revolution.
Oh my God, Katie, you are
It's
so
the same
sassy
year.
today, and I love it, but I just need to know why.
I don't know why.
I don't know why either, but you were just like spitting flames today, and I'm loving it. All right, so the dynastic system ends in 1911. The Chinese people are going to try to rally, and they have a couple like republics and stuff like that, but it's not going to go so well. Okay? Keep in mind, Mao is going to go get sent on a great walk, remember? The Long March. So Mao's already done his Long March. He does that in the 1942, I believe. Don't quote me on it. Okay? So this is after the Long March. He's already been fighting with Zhang Jian. Okay? He's already done all of those things. I've taught you all the stuff lining up to it. The dynastic system ends in 1911. We have a republic in China and it's struggling. The republic is going to be led by Zhang Jian. Zhang Jian is going to beat Mao first time. Mao is going to be then banished from China and he's going to go on a long march. During this long march, he's going to write the Red Book, which is like the book of Chinese nationalism today. And now, in 1949, Mao wins. He beats Zhang Jian, and now China becomes communist. Okay? So in 1949, China is communist. Mao Zedong is officially in power. As soon as he creates the People's Republic of China, which is what it's called today, okay, we're going to start seeing a nationalized Chinese industries. Okay, that's a big deal. Every time we see a country that does nationalize industries, does it go well or really poorly? Goes really poorly, and in China is no exception. Okay? However, you need to put a big star. China is starting to industrialize now. This is where we're going to start seeing China really making moves towards industrialization for the first time.
What year was that?
49. The industrialization, he's going to do a 5-year plan, which is oddly similar to,
Stalin.
because who is helping China?
Stalin.
Stalin is still in power, but the Soviets are helping, and the Soviets need more Soviet states. So, ladies and gentlemen, is this a new country adopting communism? Yes, this is, you need to put a big star, is a big concern for the Americans. This technically breaks the Truman Doctrine, containment, and all those other things that we have talked about. So, China turning communist is a huge concern of the Americans. So, in 1958, Mao Zedong does the Great Leap Forward. And you need to put a box around this because this is a huge cultural identity for China today. Okay? So, what they're going to do is a land reform where all the farmland is redistributed, where the state controls the land. Okay, so it is a land redistribution of China, and you need to put like 3 stars. It is an epic failure. Alex, you need your head up, dude. I'm not using this raspy voice for fun. Okay? You need to put a big star, a couple big stars. It is an epic failure. 20 million people on the low side die of starvation. Huh? Yeah. Yeah. This is in China. So we know those numbers are way off because they're definitely not telling the truth. We actually estimate it's probably close to 60 million Chinese are going to die in the Great Leap Forward. Like farming just like stops. What do you got, John?
But they knew this was gonna happen, right? Like, there's no problem.
I mean, no one's like, yeah. I mean, they're just trying to redistribute it, and people are protesting and all these other things, and it's just they just didn't do it well, and it's going to cause 20 million confirmed. We know for a fact Mao is going to kill 20 million people with this, but we actually believe it's going to be higher, and that the Chinese government lies. Oh my God, does the Chinese government lie to us? I can't believe it. That's so shocking. Natalie, what do you got? Okay, so 20 million Chinese definitively are going to die of starvation. So, plan not successful. It doesn't officially get abandoned until 1960. So it takes 2 years to kill 20 million people confirmed. That is really fast. There's also a lot of shady things in those numbers as well. So things are not going well in China. Because of the epic failure, we are going to have the Cultural Revolution. And this is where things start going well for China. Okay? When we think of modern day China and the success it has, now we can, as we just talked about, China is shady as hell. They lie all the time. I mean, even in the Olympics, there's shady shit going on right now in the Olympics. Okay? I don't know if you heard, but the Olympic Russian skater who did the first quadruple axel, who's 15 years old, tested positive for steroids and other performance enhancing, but she hasn't officially been removed from it. And there's some backroom deals going on, and everyone's trying to figure out what the hell is happening. Shady.
Wait,
She's 15, and apparently she had enough steroids in her of like a grown man. Yes, that's why they're not safe. That's why Russia is not Russia. It's the Russian Olympic Committee, because they've been in charge of doping. So we got some shady things happening in China, okay? And it's a big deal. Obviously, we got Ukraine going on. But let's get to the Cultural Revolution. What?
So you said in 1960 they abandoned the land.
Yeah, they're going to abandon the land reform. 20 million confirmed dead, but probably 60. It's probably a pretty good reason to walk away. Okay, the Cultural Revolution is trying to get communism to have a bigger hold. Okay, so it is trying to get the Chinese to really buy in it. Why wouldn't the Chinese really be excited about communism at this point? John? Yeah, it's already killed crazy amounts of people. So what he's going to do is we're going to start seeing the Red Guard. Okay, so anyone who doesn't love communism gets sent to a concentration camp. Yeah. Okay, isn't that nice? So that's how you get people to love things. Threaten them with a life sentence to a prison camp. So we have the Red Guard. Huh?
Is that pictures of the top one?
Yeah. It's the arresting. Okay, now, what we are going to see is there is going to be conflict between communist China and communist Russia. The problem is that Russia wanted to tell China what to do. Well, China has had a lot of white people in their country telling them what to do for a couple hundred years now. Guess what China is tired of listening to? They're very tired of white people. So they do not want to have Russian control inside their country. You need to understand, the Russians and the Chinese need each other for trade. Write that down. By the way, that still exists today. The Russians and the Chinese need each other for trade, but China does not want the influence of Russia in China. How do you think Russia feels about this? Not so good, because keep in mind, in every other communist country, who has a definitive center role in that country? Russia. So this is the first country that is rebuking Russia. Russia is not happy about this. They want to be front and center. They want to be having a huge influence and controlling the country because it benefits them. So this is the first country that really begins to push them out. Now, what we are going to see is that with China growing in power, write this down, satellite countries, oh my God, who can tell me what a satellite country is with a hand? Come on, satellite countries, we talked about this 1,000 times yesterday. What is a satellite country, Elise?
Like the smaller ones that
Yeah, where are they? Where are they in the world? Eastern Europe. Okay, what would be an example of a satellite country? That's a weird one, but yes.
Czechoslovakia.
You're not Elise. You're Abby. Czechoslovakia, Poland, Albania, Yugoslavia, all of those Eastern European countries. This is the big thing that is really going to enrage the Russians. Albania, Yugoslavia is going to come later. Albania leaves the Warsaw Pact and joins
NATO.
China.
Oh.
Why would they join NATO if we're talking about China?
I don't know.
Wait,
It's
so,
the Soviets
so
now.
China's growing in power and satellite countries just piss off Russia?
Because China is the only country to have completely rebuked Russia, yes? They have the trade, but they don't have any of the mixing of the political powers. All of the satellite countries are just getting run over by Russia, right? They're literally there, so if they get invaded, the Russians are safe. They don't really give a shit about these satellite countries. So because of that, all these satellite countries are like, wait a second. We can keep Russia out and we can do trade? Hell yeah. So they are now looking towards China, being like, hell yeah, China, let's do this. Now, ladies and gentlemen, in 1950, I think we're in 1962 when this happens. Is this the China we're talking about today? The big scary China?
Yes.
No, this isn't big scary China. Today in 2022, do we have a big scary China? That we literally hold our tongue, and Nancy Pelosi made a huge impassioned speech to all of our Olympians saying, don't protest in China. Win your medals, come home. Don't talk shit about the Chinese government. That's scary China. That is in 2022. In 1961, 62, 63, when this starts happening, they're okay. They're not fully industrialized yet because they don't really fully industrialize until like 65. Does that make sense? So we're starting to get there, but we're not at this peak pinnacle yet. All right. So we're going to come back to China because we got a lot going on in China. All right, let's go to Iran.
Do they become communists too?
No, they've got a lot of other problems. Okay, let's go to Iran. Iran is, of course, in the Middle East. Okay, so what you need to know is that the British and the Russians are fighting over Iran. You need to know that. Oh my goodness gracious, what is located in Iran? Matthew? Oil. What do you think gets discovered in the 1950s in Iran? Oil. So all of a sudden, every country in the world wants a piece of Iran. And that is the big deal. All of a sudden, countries in the Middle East who no one really cared a ton about, all of a sudden are now going to be the place of focus. So, Great Britain and Russia are the ones fighting over it. Okay? So, with that being said, we are going to have a new leader. So we have Shah Mohammad Reza. I don't really need you to know too much. Okay, let me try this again. Under the mandate system, they implement a puppet leader in Iran. Who can remind me what the mandate system is? What is the mandate system? What do we got? Tell me about the mandate system, Nicole.
So it's basically where all of the more powerful countries have
After what time? What time is this?
after
After World War I, they're going to divide the Middle East into mandates. England, France, the United States has a little bit of presence in there, but then we don't officially have territory in the region. With that being said, those mandates are going to go into World War II, and after World War II, we're going to start having this whole decolonization thing, which is going to have a role. During the mandate system, they're obviously going to put a pro-Western person in power, yes? Well, after World War II, everyone wants their independence, and then Iran is going to put Mohammad Mazadeh. Okay? He is going to rise into power. He is going to, rise into power and say he is going to nationalize oil. Oh my God, is that a red alarm for the United States? It is a huge red alarm. Because when you start nationalizing things, you're looking towards
Communism.
So, the United States, in all of our glory, we arrange a coup.
Yay.
And what's a coup?
Military takeover.
Well, not quite. What is a coup? We need to understand a coup before we talk about it, because this is why Iran constantly threatens to blow us up every day. What do you got, Matt?
Kind of like an organized overthrowing of the government.
Yeah, so we got a little nervous about them trying to nationalize and maybe lead toward communism. So the United States decided we were going to kill the leader of their country who they elected and replace him with a more pro-America person. Oops is right, because we didn't kill him. We failed. It's a failed coup. And guess who gets caught red-handed doing it? Yeah. Yeah. That's us. So, America's afraid Iran is going to turn communist under when they start trying to nationalize the oil. In order to stop the spread of communism. Is it really about the spread of communism? Who had the cheapest oil in the Middle East? Iran, because they had someone in place who was friendly towards the West who gave them great deals. Now, all of a sudden, they actually elected a person who wants to make money for their country, not give money away to the United States and England. So they're going to try killing him. They're going to get their hands caught in the cookie jar. And with that being said, things are not going to go well. What do you got?
What do you mean by nationalized oil?
So instead of having private companies like American companies who are drilling it and sending it to America and making lots of money off of it, but paying the Iranian government very little, the state government of Iran is going to own all of the oil production to ensure that Iran gets a large cut of it, because if it's our natural resources, we should have it. Now, when we're talking about collectivization, I will tell you I personally believe a little collectivization is a good thing. Does that make sense? If it's a natural resource, it should benefit. Saudi Arabia today in 2022 probably does it best, yes? Every citizen of Saudi Arabia gets $20,000 every single month. You didn't know that? That's why they all drive like Bugattis and stuff. If you go to like Abu Dhabi, like it's insane. Every a natural citizen of Saudi Arabia gets like a $20,000 check every single month until they die. And that is the cut that you get from the oil revenues from that country.
Wait, how does their economy work if
They are working. They are working, actually. You have to do something. You can't just sit around and collect money like that. But they have a huge problem because no one is doing service industries. Does that make sense? Like, no one is going to get a $20,000 check and work for McDonald's, right? So they have a lot of foreigners who come into the country to do all the service industry stuff. So that's why, like, you'll see huge commercials for, like, the next Hollywood is Abu Dhabi, because all of their people want to be celebrities and stuff like that, which is why they have this huge economy. They have a nationalized oil. So every person in the country gets a share of the wealth of that nation. Does that make sense? So it does work in some ways, but in other ways, does it work? We've seen it fail 1,000 times, but sometimes it does work. And in oil, which is only going to rise in importance and wealth starting in the 1950s, we're going to start seeing this is going to become such a huge thing. Jackson.
So how is it not inflated with the amount of money that they get?
Because they're making so much money. Saudi Arabia runs OPEC.
Well, I know that's what I'm saying, but like how is that check then just?
Because there's really not that many people who are actual naturalized citizens of Saudi Arabia. It's a desert country. They only have, out of the whole territory, only like 30% of it is actually livable.
Oh.
It's actually like a really small population. They also happen to be the wealthiest nation in the world because of that oil production. But keep in mind that that's a tapped resource, and that's a huge problem for them. There you go.
You said they nationalized oil. Why do people like have private like foreign investors? Like, what's the point if that's only worse? It's only private.
Because it's not a purely nationalized thing, and private companies can come in and invest and still cut shares. So it's a stabilized thing. If it's a nationalized thing, it's a pretty stabilized currency system. So people like financial advisors would support those types of investments because it's a good return. It's a solid return. Like, so if you decide to invest in like a startup tech company, it's either going to hit or it's not. Most likely it's probably not going to hit. But if you're investing in like a nationalized, stable oil economy like Saudi Arabia, you're gonna make returns because they can't let that go because their whole country is based on it. Does that make sense? So it's a pretty strong return. But
Isn't like if they get the $20,000, do they have to spend it?
No.
Like, no, I mean like, it's like how.
it's also the most expensive country in the world to live in right now.
That's,
Guys, Abu Dhabi, they have a ski park in the desert. Abu Dhabi. Okay, Google it, guys. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, okay, so they are going to, this failed coup is going to lead to an authoritarian regime that hates America. So when you look at Iran today, how do they feel about America? They literally say death to America like all the time. They burn American flags like all the time. Yeah, they really hate Americans. And did we kind of mess it up? Yeah, we did. Because we wanted cheaper oil. So there you go. Now, there are a couple good things that are going on in Iran. Things are going to go down pretty quickly, though. So, with that being said, they are going to allow, under Shah, okay, in Iran, pre-revolution. So, right, in Iran, pre-revolution, women were voting. Okay, women were voting. They are going to kind of do some wealth redistribution. Pre-revolution, Iran is okay. Okay, so religious conservatives were in the minority. That's a huge deal. Put a box around it. Religious conservatives were in the minority. So women had rights, there were public education, those types of things were happening pre-revolution. Okay? There's pictures, like some really famous pictures of women in Iran wearing miniskirts and go-go boots in the 60s in a library. Why is that funny to see? Today, in 2022, they are wearing burqas. They are not allowed to be educated, and they're not allowed to speak. Do we see how those two pictures are very, very interesting? Okay? Now, we are going to have, in 1979, we're going to have the Iranian Revolution. So that's why we have pre-revolution, and now we have the revolution. What do you got?
What did you say about the religious minorities before?
They are going to be the religious conservatives are the minority, Alex. So guess what do you think is going to happen after the revolution, Alex?
They're going to be like persecuted.
No. The minorities are going to become the majority. 1979. So we have the Iranian Revolution in 1979 to eradicate the pro-West rulers. So keep in mind, just clarifying some things. Okay? The United States, under the mandate system, put a pro-West dude in power. The people of Iran voted him out because we create democracies. We were like, no, we're not doing that. So we orchestrated a coup, killed that guy. Guess who got put back into power? The pro-Western previous guy. Now, in 1979, we as the United States have officially pissed off the people of Iran enough that they're going to overthrow the whole government. So in 1979, we had the Iranian government is going to overthrow the Shah or the pro-West government. During this time, the religious conservatives are going to become the majority. Okay? Okay, now, they are going to make Islam the focal point of their entire government. What do you got?
I'm confused. Did the coup like fail or work? And did the guy die or
So the coup is going to work, but we get caught with our hand in the pickle jar, a cookie jar, as being we were the ones behind it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we're gonna kill the guy, but everyone knows we did it.
Oh, you said he survived.
So he does survive, and eventually will be killed off. We do get him. We always get our man. Sorry, that makes sense. You're kind of confused. we want to kill the guy. We go in, we try to kill the guy, doesn't go well. Everyone knows the United States is behind it. We eventually get him. Okay? So, everyone knows the United States has killed this leader of Iran. We put in our guy, people are unhappy, 1979 comes around, the people of Iran overthrow. I'm sorry if that was confusing, thank you for asking for clarification. Okay, so, what is going to happen is that they are going to establish a theocracy-based government in Iran. Today, ladies and gentlemen, 2022, it is a who hates? Yeah. Okay, so what we are going to see, they are going to be following Sharia law. Okay, if you don't know how to spell it, it's right here. And they are going to limit women and access. They are going to implement burqas, which haven't been used in a very long time or in very small parts. All of these things are going to be implemented back into society. Okay, so for the first time in the Middle East, we're going to have a theocracy based, and that theocracy based is going to be anti-America. Is this going to cause some problems? Yeah, eventually we're going to hear in a little bit, we're going to have the Iranian hostage situation. Have we heard of these things?
Isn't it really like
They capture 400 Americans, and then planes would get take up in the air and stuff like that, and Iranians would pull out weapons and bombs and stuff and hold people hostage and stuff. It gets wild. What do you got?
Oh, so basically if we hadn't done that coup,
Things would be
this
so
would
much
happen.
better in the Middle East right now. Yes. But then keep in mind, we are going to do this coup, we get caught, things are going bad, then there's a huge revolution, then the theocracy and all this stuff. America's like, oh my God, Islam is so oppressive and all that stuff. Okay? That is just one place who does it. Then we're going to put Israel in the Middle East and give it all the nukes. So we're going to have two major strikes against Iran, which is why they really, really hate us. Okay, Latin America. Actually, oh my goodness, the United Fruit Company, I love it. Oh my God. Here we go. Venezuela. Okay, Venezuela is where we're going to start. Okay, so what is going to happen is that the Venezuelan government, voted by the people, is going to do land redistribution because the people want it. The people want it because Americans own too much land. And where does all the money go from that land? America, not to the people of Venezuela, and they pay the people of Venezuela very little. So it's to American benefit, not the Venezuelan benefit. So what's going to happen is the people want a land redistribution. So the United States government is going to say, no. Okay? So because of that, we are going to see that the United States is going to start meddling with the Venezuelan government and start pulling out people who are unfriendly. And what do you think we mean by that? No, but they're gonna mysteriously disappear. Like sometimes there's just cars just explode. You know?
That's so weird.
Like people who are really anti-America and say that America is corrupting the Venezuelan land. They get in their cars and they turn on their engine and it goes boom. It's very strange. Now, keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, after Iran, are we way more cautious? Meddling in other countries? Yeah, things are going to go up. Does that stop us? No. Okay, Venezuela, we're coming back to, because things in Venezuela are just going to pop off here in a few minutes. Guatemala is where we're heading next. Now, ladies and gentlemen, where are the largest immigrants coming from in 2022?
Guatemala.
Do you think we maybe had something to do with that? That caused their government to be completely incapable of controlling and regulating and creating a fair and equitable economy?
Isn't it one of our territories though?
No. No, because
that's
we...
Guam.
Yeah, that's Guam. And that's in the Pacific, by the way. Yeah. Okay, Guatemala is going to elect Jacob Arbenz. As Americans, are we good with elections?
Yes.
Yeah, we love them. We love it when the people speak their words and they get it. Now, the United States has some concerns. Our Benz does not like our company, the United Fruit Company. Now, the United Fruit Company is what is essentially keeps low prices on American goods. For instance, bananas. Do you really think it takes 39 cents a pound for a banana to be imported from Guatemala and fly all the way here to the United States and sit on American shelves for 39 cents a pound? No. Do you know why it costs 39 cents a pound? Because United Fruit Company, we do price stabling for Americans. So if we're paying 39 cents a pound, how much do you think the Guatemalans who are picking the fruit, growing the fruit, are making off of it?
1 cent.
Like, probably not even a cent. That is the United Fruit Company. Ladies and gentlemen, if you go to Publix right now, guess how much your bananas are? 39 cents a pound. Why do I know that? Because Hank eats 2 bananas a day. He loves that shit. Okay? So, the United Fruit Company is one of the United States' most profitable companies for agriculture.
Do you still care about it? Or do you just like
Yes. The people of Guatemala just desperately cares about it. Here's the catch. Let's finish the next though. The United Fruit Company is concerned. So guess what we do to him?
We take him out.
Yeah, we take him out. We outright take him out. So what does that tell you if you're a government that is promoting, regulating the United States? Probably. So guess who doesn't get very heavily regulated? Bananas definitely though. Thank God, because Hank used to do with it. They did it in 1954. They did it through covert action. They removed our beds. So the United Fruit Company could continue to function at its highest profit yield. Anyone who's keep in mind, during imperialism, we take over by American control. We don't control the territory.
Is it hard?
They're now in World War II. They're like, well, you can't do this, right?
Yeah, I'm just gonna get up, because these are boys go like one outside. And we like so.
No, we are.
Are they just anti-American or just?
They're anti-American. They don't mind. Think about it. Look what I was talking about. If your bananas really don't cost anything, when you cut down bananas, the whole tree has to die. Val has it wrong. Max, do you need a